This work is slow.
Please. When did they call you? What's it at the cable? Yeah. Look at this long cam. This long cam. Look at. So, when they say, when I call Paul, let's watch for this first. Now they take first and forecourt. So at the pause and David.
Salia.
Okay.
So now Paul and now they need now to pick up now. Yeah.
Manuel, tell Paul let check. Let him watch you see them in the end. Huh? Yeah, let check now. You see the military of the flag, right? Huh?
You are watching the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation television as we are here at the forecourt of Parliament building, where the House of Parliament is going to be dissolved today by no less a person than the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Brigadier Retired Dr. Julius Maada Bio. And as you can see, the fanfare, the regimental band of the Sierra Leone Army is in attendance, and they are doing everything to keep the fanfare going. Today, the President Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Supreme Head of State, and Minister of Defense, Grand Commander of the Order of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and Fountain of Honor, Freedom and Justice, is going to dissolve the House today, which is the fifth Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. As per the 1991 Constitution, it is the responsibility of the President to dissolve Parliament, because the tenure of the lifespan of this particular Parliament has come to an end. And today, the President is going to dissolve this House. Well, this has always been the case. This is a Parliament that started in 2018. And as per law demands, after 5 years, the life of the Parliament will come to an end. So that is what the President will be doing this afternoon. As you can see, government ministers, heads of parastatals, people from all walks of life, very highly placed authorities are here this afternoon to see this occasion, this ceremony. And that is the reason we are here, to bring you live coverage on this particular activity. Don't forget, and also be reminded that you're watching the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation television live from the forecourt of Parliament building. Here we are going to witness an epoch-making event which happens after every 5 years. It happens after every 5 years. Well, according to analysis, this Parliament is one Parliament that enacted many bills, over 80 decisions were taken by this Parliament that is now, or that are now affecting the country, positively, I mean, because, for example, just recently we saw the gender bill, which is now a law. We also saw this particular Parliament enacting or, doing away with the death penalty. that is the abolition of the death penalty. This parliament also did it. And apart from that, this parliament also enacted the new elections bill, which is now a law, and several of them. And apart from that, they also repeal the seditious criminal libel law, and several other instruments were also passed during the life of this in particular parliament. But then I have here my co-commentator who is Patrick Salia, as we've just been informed that our Vice President of the Republic will be taking his salute any moment from now. The Vice President of the Republic will be taking his salute. But then I have Patrick Salia. Patrick, now Honorable Vice President has just arrived, at the dissolution ceremony of this Parliament, which is by law after every 5 years.
Yes, thank you very much, Sheku. Welcome to our listeners and viewers across the country. You are watching us live from the forecourt of the Parliament building, where today, as Sheku has earlier on said, President Julius Maada Bio will officially close this 5th session of Parliament of the Second Republic. This Parliament, on this day in 1961, preparations were being made for the official opening of this Parliament. Guard of honor over there. Vice President's guard of honor, salute and trumpets being sounded, and the regimental band of the military is leading that. So as I was saying earlier, before the guard of honor by the Vice President, on this day, 1961, preparations were being made for the opening of this Parliament by the Duke of Kent to start this official building where today the Parliament of Sierra Leone is being housed. So today, President Julius Maada Bio, over 60 years down the line, is closing this 5th session, this 5th Parliament of the Second Republic. And the next Parliament will be the 6th Parliament of the Republic of Sierra Leone. But that will now be under a proportional representation system. The one we are closing now is a hung Parliament that has 59 All People's Congress members of Parliament, 58 SLPP members of Parliament, 8 C4C members of Parliament, and 4 NGC members of Parliament, including four independent MPs, plus 12 Paramount Chief MPs, who formed the over 40 members of Parliament, or call them lawmakers, who have served here in the last 5 years. So, those over 40 MPs, some of whom may not be returning after the next elections. So, as you see behind me, this is in readiness for the reception of the president, as the red carpet has been laid, the guard of honor is on the standby, and the cabinet ministers, members of parliament, predominantly or almost every one of them from the ruling party, and a few of them from a few of the other opposition parties, such as the C4C and the NGC, lined up there to receive the president, as he would any time from now arrive and be given his guard of honor. So this parliament would be officially closed today after the president walked out of this forecourt of this parliament, enters into that well, delivers his statement, his sole statement. No one is expected to speak after him. This is not business as usual. When after the president speaks, you expect MPs to debate his statement. Officially, MPs will be returning to their constituencies to campaign afresh for a new mandate from their people. They are not going to be debating the president's speech anymore as usual as before. This time around, the president is going to walk out from that well after receiving the guard of honor here, go back to State House until elections are held and a new president is returned, or he returns. Then no MP will question his statement. Already we have seen on social media and on some other official platforms, well, Twitter or other sites, people questioning certain things around his governance, certain people praising certain areas or certain sectors for their improvements under his leadership. But we are going to be listening to his statements that will catalog all of those sectors, his achievements, gains, well, possibly challenges, and how he hopes to address those challenges if re-elected into that office at State House, and alongside with his cabinet ministers and the rest of the government. Remember, government is not only the party that won the presidency or that wins the presidency, but includes the opposition, whether here in Parliament, this legislative house. Currently, it constitutes 132 ordinary members of Parliament, 12 paramount chief MPs, the traditional rulers. They have asked earlier for a new council of paramount chief, a council that will be devoid of the original parliamentary structure that will cater for just traditional rulers as part of this law-making institution for the country. So as you can see, this is a lineup of those people who have served in the administration of the President Julius Maada Bio SLPP-led government, lined up here, and they are MPs, SLPP MPs, C4C MPs. You can see some of them, C4C MPs lined up there, and some independent members of parliament. Let us speak to a few of them. Let us speak to some of these MPs who are lined up here already. Let me speak to the female. They say the brave new world belongs to women. I'm sorry to interrupt your discussion, sir. Honorable, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, and we're glad you can accept this interview with the SLBC. Would you want to explain to our listeners and viewers who this member of parliament or the outgoing member of parliament is?
I am Honorable Rebecca Yesam. I'm outgoing, but I'm coming back.
How sure are you?
Very sure, 100% sure, because I know I've worked for my people, not only making roads or what, but I've worked for my people, debating with others in the well of parliament and making good laws for our people.
From Kono?
From Kono, sure.
What constituency?
029, Tankoro Chiefdom.
Why are you so confident enough, based on the developments you said you have done for your people? But that was not the basis you have voted in. You have voted in to come and legislate for them. But the promises politicians make to the people hinge hugely on the pressure they face or they go through on a daily basis. You think that will change after this close of this session, this parliament, ushering a new parliament? You think that mindset and form of campaign will change?
I want to shock you. I know my roles and responsibility as a member of parliament before coming to parliament, because I was working for an NGO for 12 years and I was working in a governance program. I know that parliamentarians are not given money to go and do any development in their constituencies. We are purely here as members of parliament to represent our people, to make laws and to play oversight role.
Are you sure this set of members of parliament, lawmakers, did their job to their utmost best?
Well, I will not speak for everybody, but as far as I'm concerned, debates in parliament in the past 4-5 years now to today has been very, very, very tense because people had wanted to make their own input in any laws, agreement, or anything that comes to Parliament.
And there have been lots of bickering and fighting here.
Of course, that should be the case because it's not like everything should be on a silver platter. It should be heated debate so that we get things correct. Not that people were against.
But should you fight?
No.
This parliament is said to have recorded the highest number of fights.
No, the fighting is because some people, let me tell you, I'm not a fighter, so you don't see me fight. So if you see anybody fighting, he or she has been a fighter before. Fighter in a sense, physical fighting. Physical fighting cannot solve the issue or any problem in the well of Parliament. It's about talking. Parliament is talking. It's the meaning of Parliament. So you have to talk to defend your stand. So that's why you should come to Parliament, not to promise people on things you cannot be able to deliver.
Thank you, Honorable, for speaking to us. And you see already the judicial arm of government is here, led by the Chief Justice, His Lordship Honorable Desmond Babatunde Edwards. These are Supreme Court, Appeals Courts, judges lined up here. This is a tradition that whenever Parliament is to be reopened or is being closed, you see this lineup of judges of the Superior Court of Judicature. That's Honorable Justice Bintu Aladi, Honorable Justice James Ina King. The Chief Justice is leading this delegation, and among them also Honorable Momoja Stevens and Mr. Taylor, Justice Taylor, Honorable Justice Bine Bangura, and a barrage of this galaxy of stars in the judicial arm of government who have come to this parliament here to grace this closing ceremony of the 5th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. So after the elections come June 24th, we'll be expecting the 6th Parliament. Now you see traditional leaders already lined up as part of the dignitaries who are supposed to receive President Julius Maada Bio. I see already from Kafu Blom, the paramount chief there, and see, well, this is a lineup of opposition lawmakers, the APC. I see already one from Tonkolili district. Honorable, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for accepting firstly this interview with the SLBC. How are you feeling today?
I'm fine, thank God.
Honorable what?
Rosemary Bangura.
That's from the iron-rich part of Tonkolili and Sierra Leone. That should be around Frerengbaya?
Yes, Bunguna, Mabonto and Cafe.
So today Parliament is closing down. What's the highs and lows for you? What's the feeling like?
Well, I just want to say thanks to God for seeing me through the 5 years. I give him the praise. And also thanks to my political party for giving me the space. Thank you.
All right, let me speak to a male member of Parliament. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Who are we speaking to?
Honorable Leade Aladi of Constituency 123 in the Western Urban.
Thank you, and we're glad you can accept this interview from the SLBC. Now, this law-making body, this law house, or this lawmaking house, is said to have recorded in your tenure, the highest number of fighting, physical fighting. What is responsible for that?
Well, to be honest with you, we're going to allow the public to decide.
And you don't recognize that there are women here? This has been one of the reasons the public has said that it's driving women away from active politics.
We're not driving women away from active politics. We want them all to come. Now we have got a 30% for them, and we are all happy to see them back on the 6th Parliament.
And you think this Parliament has done its bits at its utmost best so far in your tenure to make the right laws, repeal the right laws, and passing agreements?
I'm going to say it's 50-50. I'm not going to 100% agree. It's 50-50. But thank God we're safe and well.
All right, thank you very much. Let us speak to some more MPs. They are not in their usual colorful ways. They are colorful uniforms. Before now, you see the APC in their red and white, the SLPP in their green, And now you see mixed colors. See the Honorable Roland Kagbo, for example, not in his usual traditional APC red and white. And you see the Honorable Kaloko, I guess, it's not in his usual APC red and white. But let me speak to Honorable Roland Kagbo firstly. Why is that so?
Well, in an occasion like this, I think we want to feel together as a parliament, because all these 5 years, besides, in spite of the differences, we have always worked together to reach a common agreement. So we are here not distinguishing anyone, we are the same.
Are you disappointed that the parliament is closing down today? That you would have wanted this to continue as long as possible, Honorable Kaloko?
I am not disappointed. I am only disappointed based on a lot of violations we experience in this fifth parliament. These violations, we hope the sixth parliament will not dare go that way. A lot of human rights violations. Police officers came to the well of parliament and stripped off parliamentarians, and we came in with 68 members of parliament from the All People's Congress. We were reduced to 58. So these are all.
But you are now the majority. You have 59 MPs as APC.
Yeah.
You are now 59 in number.
That shows you that the citizenry place confidence in us, and that is why we came back to take our majority in parliament.
Are you sure of coming back?
I'm pretty sure of coming back.
Honorable Kagbo, are you sure of coming back?
Well, I've done my two terms, and I don't think I'll be coming back.
You are not interested anymore. But let me speak to the lady MP. Hello, Honorable. How are you?
I'm good.
What's the name?
I'm Honorable Haja Miata Amara. I'm representing constituency 112 Western Rural District.
Are you sure of coming back here?
Of course, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure.
Under the 30% quota, or based on your performance?
No, it's based on my performance and based on my lower level elections, which I just went through.
Congratulations in advance.
I emerged as the first winner amongst women in the rural district.
So you're not mindful about the placement on the.
Not at all. I know I'm a winner. I'm a very strong woman.
We are congratulating you as SLBC and on my personal behalf in advance. As a woman, to come back to this House of Parliament and make good laws for this country.
My pleasure.
All right, let me speak to some more members of Parliament. Let me speak to, I should be coming to traditional rulers shortly, but let me speak to Honorable Bendu from Kono. He's a Member of Parliament representing Coalition for Change, C4C. Honorable Bendu, good afternoon, and thank you. You can accept this interview firstly with the SLBC.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy talking to SLBC and the people of.
You are not sure you're coming back under C4C, correct?
Well, I'm very optimistic. I am coming back under the C4C. C4C is a formidable party.
But currently, you already have an injunction in court against the C4C. So how come you are so optimistic that you're coming under the C4C?
Well, like I said, I am optimistic. We are hopeful that tomorrow the injunction will be lifted. We have touched so many parameters. We've engaged so many people to see how we can get this thing sorted out to enable us to participate in these elections. So I'm very optimistic that tomorrow it will be taken care of and we will take part in these elections.
Are you okay with the way Parliament, this batch of lawmakers conducted themselves? That should not be excluding yourself. It should be inclusive yourself.
Well, a lot of improvement, definitely. If you look at, you want to do comparative analysis between the past parliament and this current parliament, there are a lot of things that we did that they never did. I'm not condemning them, but we bring a lot of improvement. We had a lot of values in our contributions in parliament, in our checkmating the ruling government, in doing things, in all of our work as parliamentarians. We've done a lot in making sure that the needful is done and putting the country first.
All right. Let me speak to an independent member of parliament, Honorable Shiaka Sama from Samalane, Pujeon District. Pujeon District. 104. Constituency 104. Thank you very much. You can accept this interview firstly from us, the SLBC. Honorable Shiaka Sama, we saw you a couple of weeks ago declaring for the SLPP or wanting to come back to the SLPP. You were originally an SLPP, you went to PMDC, you went as an independent member of parliament. This is your third term in parliament, correct?
No, this is my second term. I came here as PMDC, then I came again as an independent. I'm going to contest this election as an SLPP.
Why?
Why? Because I've decided to support President Bio, to join his team, to work so that he can be re-elected to go back to State House.
Are you not confident in yourself as a person, rather than going under the ticket of a political party?
I have the right to be what I want to be. I contested as an independent. This election 2023, I want to contest as an SLPP. It's my right to make a choice. I've made a choice to join President Bio so that I can support him to win this election.
How are you sure the SLPP will give you that? You will get the symbol from the SLPP?
Well, we are going for screening tomorrow. It is left to the National Secretariat to award symbols.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Sheikh Asama, and we'll continue this conversation with a traditional ruler now. Let us talk to the paramount chief, Baikuru Kanagbada Sanka III from Konike Chiefdom, Tonkolili district. That's the center of Sierra Leone, I want to believe, yes, covering the Yile axis. Tonkolili district, covering that Yile axis. Yes, sir. All right. This man, arguably, has been the longest serving member of parliament. He entered this lawmaking body in 1996 under the first proportional representation system, when multi-party democracy started in Sierra Leone. How is it the feeling for you today? We understand you are not coming again.
Yes, well, it's an emotional feeling, like any other human being. What you don't use, where you don't get friends, you are afraid with the situation. To live with respect and dignity is emotional, but I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to be in Parliament since 1996. Yes.
What an experience. So what are the highs and lows for you? Because we've seen you are the best person to be able to summarize this for us. This is arguably, but this is no secret. Members of the public hold the belief that this Parliament accounts for the highest number of fist fighting ever since return of democracy. Do you agree?
What is the peace fighting?
Fist fighting, physical fighting in Parliament, dishonorable ways of acting in this lawmaking body.
Well, I have not seen a member of Parliament hitting each other. They threaten each other, but I didn't see any physical blows to each other. There is scramble, shouting, screaming, but I have not seen any MP hitting an MP. But that is not good. But that is the vibrancy of the situation. When you have young people.
What would you say about the property that were damaged within the well of Parliament, that the Speaker, together with some management of the Parliament, had to suspend some MPs and order them to pay for those things? Don't you call that fighting?
No, I didn't say there is no fighting, but I mean, that's why I said there is a scramble, there is I was not in that Parliament that day.
PC, you are struggling with the fighting.
No, because I didn't see anybody hitting his friend. But I saw people trying to hit, see people taking things, throwing, but they didn't hit each other.
But that was dishonorable.
Very,
I agree.
Very. I was ashamed.
Why are you not coming back?
Well, it's a good question. We have 19 chiefdoms. If I've represented them for over 20 years, and there are younger people coming in, you got to give space to others so that people will be in preparation to take over leadership. You cannot monopolize the situation, and you get old. When you are now more than 70 years, and there are young guys with 40, 45, you should give them the...
You understand the paramount chief from Maboroka or Matotoka is coming now to replace you?
Yes, sir.
It's a unanimous decision?
Yes, sir. You know, so...
You love this place?
Pardon?
You love this place?
Well, everybody should love this place. I'm sure every Sierra Leonean should love this place. Because it is a legislative area where the democracy itself exists. That you can bring your proposals, You can bring what you agree, disagree. Here, the final place to make the law. Then it's being interpreted by the court. So everybody who wants peace, who wants progress, who supports democracy should love here.
All right, so we have been given indication that the president is on his way to this place, this parliament, where he's going to be closing officially this parliament, this 5th parliament today. His indications are that he's very close or on his way here now. Yes, the siren is already alarming us that he's here. So he's going to take the guard of honor. He's going to take the guard of honor, which will mark his commencement of closing the parliament here today. That siren you hear from the background is an indication that the president has arrived. Earlier on, about a couple of minutes ago, his vice president, Dr. Mohamed Julde Diallo, had done the same, received the guard of honor. Now it's his turn to mark the commencement of the closing ceremony here of this 5th parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. The military regimental band is already on the standby to play the sweet melodies and the constructive sounds and command structures.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Southern Armed Forces will join us. As courtesies demand.
Remember, the SLBC is broadcasting to you live from the Parliament building at Star Hill in Freetown. And I'm in the company of Sheku Sumaila, who is the head of television, the head of OB, Outdoor Broadcast Unit, Daniel Monsire, and a host of other colleagues who are here to provide commentaries on this closing ceremony of the 5th Parliament of the Second Republic. So I'll hand you back to Sheku Sumaila to continue the rest of the commentary. We'll bring you intermittently so much more analysis later.
Okay, thank you so much, Patrick, for those analysis. Well, we've just been told that the first gentleman of this country, the president, has arrived. Well, very soon we'll see him at the forecourt, and the guard of honor is being mounted. And for the president, well, it is a tradition that it happens at every state opening and closing of parliament. So what is happening now is that the head of state, the president, has just arrived. The president has just arrived. As you can see, the president and his entourage. The president is in his white Africana. Well, he has gone up to take the salute, mounted here by the regimental band of the Sierra Leone Armed Forces. His Excellency is here, and you can see and hear the fanfare.
Shall we please rise for the national anthem?
The national anthem by the regimental band of the Sierra Leone Police. That is the regimental band of the Sierra Leone Armed Forces. A guard of honor mounted in honor of the President Julius Maada Bio, who is here today to officially close the house. After 5 years, it is a tradition, and it is also a constitutional provision. But after every 5 years, the president will come and close parliament. And this parliament, let me just remind all and sundry that this parliament is the 5th parliament of the Republic of Sierra Leone. This parliament was opened in 1961. So you just imagine from 1961 to now, that is quite, many years. And it was done by the Duke of Kent. That was the time when Sierra Leone gained independence from the United Kingdom.
Presented by ISL Contingent Major Mustafa Kamara. Thumbs up. Ready for your inspection, sir.
The President will now inspect the Guard of Honor that has been mounted by the Sierra Leone Armed Forces.
To His Excellency the President, Commander.
The President is now
a moment we have been waiting for.
inspecting the Guard of Honor.
By His Excellency the President.
President is now inspecting the Guard of Honor. This is the 5th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone, and the President is here today to close this house, a house which was a hung house.
You've just arrived. What you are witnessing is the inspection of the Guard of Honor parade by His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Armed Forces, Brigadier General Retired Dr. Julius Martin. A very solemn moment. The moment we have been waiting for. His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief is accompanied by the Chief of the French Staff. As required, the Chief of the French Staff, Lieutenant General who is the Commander-in-Chief currently, inspecting the Guard of Honor. The right time at the right moment. The moment we have been waiting for. And thank God, today is the 25th day of the 4th month in the of our Lord 2023. If you just arrived, what you are witnessing is the inspection of Guard of Honor parade by His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Armed Forces, Grand Commander of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Supreme Head of State, Fountain Head of Unity, Honor, Freedom and Justice, His Excellency the President, Brigadier General Retired Dr. Julius Martin, Father of the Nation, very interesting, very nice people. Regimental and very colorful. We look forward to this day is a very important day in the history of the Republic of Sierra Leone. This begins the ceremony of the House of Parliament.
Well, the President has just inspected the Guard of Honor mounted by the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. Now, this parliament was a hung parliament. In this parliament, we had the SLPP, the APC, the C4C, the NGC, and also independent members. Well, today, after today, they are no longer MPs, as they are all going back to their various political parties. And this time around, it is going to be under the PR system, which is the proportional representation system. And that particular system was first used in Sierra Leone in 1996. And secondly, it was used in 2002. So this election, the 2020 elections, the parliamentary and council elections are going to be held under the PR system. Well, the president has just inspected the Guard of Honor mounted by the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, the regimental band. Well, now from here, the president moves to the well, in the well of Parliament, where he's going to give his dissolution address. And that is going to be his last address, and after which nobody speaks. There isn't going to be debate, because when the president speaks, at the closure of Parliament, that is the end of the life of that particular Parliament. And that is exactly what is going to happen here this afternoon. Political parties are at present preparing their list to be presented to ECSL for the placement of names. This particular PR system, you're going into Parliament largely depends on where your name is placed on your party list. The fanfare continues at the forecourt of Parliament building.
Esteemed invited guests, that we still remain standing. Please remain standing for the national anthem before His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief retires.
The President is the Commander-in-Chief, the Supreme Head of State, the Fountain of Honor, and also the guardian of the country's constitution.
Shall we please stand for national anthem?
Now it's time for the national anthem. This is the last time this is going to happen here. The next one is going to be later this year after the elections, which is going to be the state opening of Parliament.
Officers and warrant officers, you are commanded to salute. Wherever you are inside or the national anthem.
That is it. National anthem of the Republic of Sierra Leone. It has been a very colorful Guard of Honor. Well, now from here, we are moving to the well. As the President moves towards to the well of Parliament right now, that is going to be the place where he is going to give his dissolution address, and after which Parliament closes until sometime later this year. So now the President moves. He is now entering the well. Members of Parliament from the various political parties are here, ministers of government, heads of parastatals. They are all here to witness this closing ceremony. This is what happens here after every 5 years. Yes. So now we join you back shortly after we had entered the well of Parliament, where the President is going to deliver his dissolution address.
representation and participation of women in all facets of our national life, governance, and development. I wholeheartedly thank this Parliament for passing this landmark GIWI Act in November 2022. I have proudly signed this into law on the 19th January this year. The GIWI Act includes provision to promote women's participation in politics and decision-making processes. At least 30% representation of women in elected and appointed positions in all spheres of society. On the 19th January this year, the GIWI Act includes provision to promote women's participation in politics and decision-making processes. At least 30%. Thank you. Thank you. In all spheres of society. Thank you. The GIWI Act also ensures equal pay for equal work, address gender-based violence, and mainstreams gender into national decision-making, among many other provisions. Thank you. My pledge to all women of our great nation is that this administration will fully apply, even exceed, and monitor the full implementation of all provisions of the GIWI Act. There will be a marked difference in the gender balance in the next Parliament as prescribed by the landmark land legislation. Notably, we will have more women members of Parliament and this is in recognition of the fact that women have been historically disadvantaged and discouraged from participating in local and national politics. My party, the Sierra Leone People's Party, the Talk and Do Party, has waived Thank you. Of the fact that women have been historically disadvantaged and discouraged from participating in local and national politics. Thank you. My party, the Sierra Leone People's Party, the Talk and Do Party, has waived. Thank you. My party has waived all fees for women seeking political office. And I encourage all political parties to remove all financial, structural, and social barriers for women who wish to participate in local and national politics. Thank you. Seeking political office. And I encourage all political parties to remove all financial and social barriers for women who wish to Control of corruption. Control of corruption. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, our 2018 manifesto identified corruption as an existential threat. With our committed leadership, a comprehensive national anti-corruption strategy, and policy and legislative reforms, every reputable international indicator over the last 5 consecutive years have scored Sierra Leone as outstanding in its effort at controlling corruption. We have sustained progression in transparency, International's Corruption Perception Index from 130 in 2018 to 110 in 2022. A 20-place move in just 4 years. We were consistently going behind during the previous regime. We have sustained progression in transparency, There have been record convictions and billions of loans in non-conviction assets-based recovery. Peer nations have studied and adopted our successful model for preventing and fighting corruption. As a result of this notable success, we have been rewarded with eligibility for the compact worth hundreds of millions of United States dollars from the millennium. There have been record convictions and billions of loans in non-conviction assets-based recovery. As a result of this notable success, we have been rewarded with eligibility for compacts worth hundreds of millions of United States dollars from the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, of the United States of America government. Now I come to mining sector. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm pleased to report positive trends in the extractive industries, one of the most significant sectors of our economy. Since 2018, there has been a substantial increase in revenue from mining, and over 6,000 more Sierra Leoneans have been hired by mining companies. Even at the height of COVID-19 pandemic, we worked with investors to keep the mines open. Today, more mining companies are operational than in 2018, operating in compliance with our regulations. At the same time, small-scale alluvial mining operators are now as protected as large-scale operators. With the New Mines and Minerals Development Act 2022, many communities in mining areas are also experiencing more direct benefit from extractive sector today than ever before. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But this is how it should be. Surface rent, taxes, and other community development agreement payments have increased tenfold from 0.01% to 1%. 20% of royalties now go back to the mining communities. CDA funds are used towards the sustainable development of the mining communities, including transformational infrastructures such as schools, healthcare centers, wash assets, roads, that will remain beyond the lifespan of the mining operation in those areas. Just last month alone, on March 30th, I handed over a check of 20 billion loans. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I handed over 20 billion, 20.3 billion in CDA payment to chiefdoms in Tonkolidi district, where Leon Rock Metal Group operates. Before this time, they were promised 0.01% and they were given nothing. Thank you. I handed over 20 billion, 20.3 billion in CDA payments to chiefdoms in Tonkolidi district, where Leon Rock Metal Group operates. Thank you, thank you. Before this time, they were promised 0.01%. Abeki! Mamta, Abeki! That was not the first one. This one was following the first CDA payment of 5.4 billion again to the mining communities. It is anticipated that was in Putloko district. And it is anticipated that Marampa Mines Limited will soon make a CDA payment of over 30 billion this week to communities in Putloko. That was not the first one. This one was following the first CDA payment of 5.4 billion again to the mining communities. It is anticipated that was in Putloko district. And it is anticipated that Marampa Mines Limited will soon. Thank you. The CDA payment of 30 billion. Thank you. So we will be paying 30 billion loans to communities in Putloko district. In the previous government, nothing was paid to them. Today, transparency and accountability and governance of the mining sector are also at an all-time high, with Sierra Leone achieving a remarkable high implementation score of 87.5% from the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. Now I come to the energy sector. Mr. Speaker, honorable members. My government continues to work hard to provide universal access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy in line with UN SDG 7. At an all-time high. There have been challenges. The government has had to pay substantial subsidies to the sector to keep tariffs lower for our citizens, especially because of the sudden hikes in generation costs. The government provided subsidies to EDSA, ETSA, amounting to 500 8.5 billion loans as of September 2022. And this was to support the purchases here for car power and payment for imported power under the CLSG arrangements. The government has had to pay substantial. The illegal obstruction of electricity by businesses and private citizens cost billions of loans annually over the past 5 years, and at great cost to the government. In replacements, there have been over 100 incidents of gutted transformers, damaged cables, and even electricity poles have been set on fire. And we know the suspects. The illegal obstruction of electricity by businesses and private citizens cost billions of dollars annually over the past 5 years, and at great cost to the government. In replacement, there have been over 100. Thank you. Thank you. In the spirit of Pauper, we have replaced and rehabilitated those assets in line with our mission to provide reliable and affordable electricity to Sierra Leoneans. Consistent with Sierra Leone People's Party manifesto promises, we have doubled energy access from 16% to 32% in just 5 years. We have worked with development partners and the private sector to implement sustainable solutions and create a good energy mix. Renewable energy use has grown from less than 35% in 2018 to over 75% in 2022. Sierra Leone's energy sector is being transformed before our eyes at a fast pace. My government has worked with partners to extend renewable and clean off-grid solar electricity to 97 towns and villages in all districts of the country. Work on grid extension from Fadugu to Kabala, Potoru to Pujong, Bumpe to Kwaidu are under consideration. The rehabilitation of the Western Area distribution network is underway, and peri-urban areas of Freetown are now connected to the grid. Electricity distribution infrastructure for all district headquarter towns has been installed. The implementation of the MCC Compact will see a doubling of generation and distribution capacity, as well as the availability of electricity across economic growth corridors in Sierra Leone. Next is investing in hard infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, with focused planning and our development partners' support, my government has built, rehabilitated and expanded more economic infrastructure in 5 years than our predecessors. In keeping with our commitment to make Sierra Leone competitive, to make Sierra Leone a competitive touristic destination and a hub for aviation activities in the sub-region, the ultra-modern Freetown International Airport infrastructure at Lungi, and our development partners' support, my government has built, rehabilitated and expanded more infrastructure in 5 years than our predecessors. The ultra-modern Freetown International Airport at Lungi, which might be called the Julius Maada Bio International Airport, Thank you. Obeki, Mamto, Obeki. Thank you. Of course, it will interest you to know that this was constructed at zero expense to this country. And it without question the newest and hard infrastructure and architecturally one of the best in the sub-region. It is fully ICAO certified. It has quadrupled our passenger handling capacity. Its facilities are expansive and has a 1.5 megawatt solar power for electricity. The new airport will attract and accommodate large modern carriers and new travel-related infrastructure investments, including a convention center and an international standard hotel. It will also create employment opportunities and skills transfer opportunities for nationals. I'm pleased that even the most ardent of critics, when he came back from America last week, used the airport and agree on record that this infrastructure investment is timely and necessary. SO2 Ikole I am confident the state-of-the-art Freetown International Airport signals a new era for open skies and economic activities, making Sierra Leone a more attractive destination for tourists and investors. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm pleased to report that my government, working with the People's Republic of China, has built and commissioned the first Sierra Leone Foreign Service Academy, a state-of-the-art academy of excellence for training foreign service practitioners in Sierra Leone and across the sub-region. The Foreign Service Academy will enable us to solidify our effort to promote our nation's foreign policy and strengthen cooperation with regional and international partners. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm proud of our work, especially in the road sector. My government, working with partners, has completed the dual carriage highway, 4 lanes with 3-lined medians from Freetown to Maisiaka. The route between Bo and Banajuma, 46 kilometers, and the Banajuma MRU road, 105 kilometers, and 3 major bridges, a highway from Moyamba Junction to Moyamba, and 4 modern bridges. The Pendembu Kailang Road, which is 28 kilometers, and the hill station to Regent, completed with modern lighting. The Lonely Toke Road is nearing completion. The Hillside Bypass Road has been completed and will soon be commissioned. The route between Bo and Banajuma. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we have expanded or undertaken regraveling road works and covered bridges in 1,800 kilometers of roads across the country, opening up remote communities and productive agricultural areas. More farmers can now bring their goods to the market, giving citizens easier access to public services. Given unpredictable spikes in the cost of petroleum products and because of the downstream petroleum value chain creates thousands of jobs, my government has commissioned storage tanks and oil marketing companies and investing in more storage facilities. Mr. Speaker, since this SLPP administration assumed office in 2018, we have completed several virtually abandoned multi-million public building projects and constructed new ones. These include the Anti-Corruption Commission headquarters building. If you are not highly rated for your anti-corruption moves, you cannot complete or finish the anti-corruption building because you don't want it to work. The National Communication Authority, the cargo inspection building at Queen Elizabeth II Quay, the custom-built Northwestern Headquarters Office of the National Social Security Trust, and the multi-story Petroleum Directorate building. Investing in ICT infrastructure. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, business, innovators, the private sector and government, among others, depend on ICT for their daily operations. With our completion of the national fiber optic backbone and the issuing of metro licenses, internet penetration has been expanded fourfold to cover all districts, headquarter towns, and other key locations. There are now many new opportunities to develop a digital economy in Sierra Leone. The Cyber Security and Crime Act enacted by this House seeks to address cybercrime and protect critical national infrastructure. My government is implementing a $50 million World Bank funded digital transformation project to support digital skills, enhance e-governance, and promote cybersecurity in this country. Technology moves fast, and we must seek to remain nimble in this field or risk falling behind. I have therefore established a Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation in the Office of the President to serve both as an innovation hub and to design and develop technology solutions that can be deployed to scale to address governance, the private sector, and public service challenges. DSTI has developed various solutions, including disease surveillance, risk communication, and travel advisories. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, towards a more peaceful, safe, inclusive, representative, and right-based democracy. Today, we live in a country where we enjoy complete freedom of expression, association, assembly, religion, and political affiliation. With support of this parliament, my government has abolished the death penalty, repealed the intolerable press laws, and supported the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, among others. In our 5 years of administration, we held no political prisoner or journalist in prison. We have opened up democratic spaces and remained open to political dialogue. We have worked closely and consistently with civil society organizations, made the political calendar more predictable by announcing democratic elections over a year in advance, and enacted progressive electoral legislations for more political inclusion, especially to facilitate the participation and the representation of women. These achievements are captured in objective and transparent international assessments and indicators. The youths, investing in youth. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, youth economic empowerment through gainful employment and entrepreneurship is a critical priority of my administration, as young people are the key to building a prosperous and sustainable future of our nation. Over the last 5 years, beyond human capital development imperatives, I have highlighted, my government has invested in young people by creating opportunities for training, entrepreneurship, and job creation. We have successfully rolled out We have successfully rolled out numerous innovative initiatives, including the National Youth Empowerment Fund, which provides seed money for youth entrepreneurs. 2. Youth Connect hubs in various parts of the country, which seeks to empower young people through enhancing their knowledge, experiences, and skills while investing their ideas, innovation, and initiatives. 3. Established 28 car washes, which provide direct employment for nearly 1,000 young people nationwide. 4. Establish youth farms to support 10,000 youth people in agriculture and rural development. Establish the 5th, established youth in fisheries initiative to engage 1,400 youth as means of job creation and promoting youth economic empowerment in coastal communities. And 6, the National Youth Service, which has trained and deployed over 1,523 youth people in various institutions across the country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, all these human capital development gains will be eroded if we do not stop the illegal substance abuse by our youth that is alarmingly on the rise, causing aggravated physical and mental health related issues and crime problems among people. It is a clear and present danger to a future of promise for young people. My government has developed and validated a 5-year strategic master plan to fight against substance abuse and illicit drug trafficking in Sierra Leone. Additional investment have been made into the drug prevention and education programs. As we stand on the cusp of a new dispensation, there is no denying the urgency of the youth. Our youth are the vanguard of progress and innovation, the standard bearers of hope and optimism in a world that can sometimes seem dark and foreboding. They are the harbingers of change, the architects of the future, and the driving force behind our nation's prosperity. The youth matter because they are the engine of our economy. They bring new ideas, fresh perspectives, and an insatiable hunger for innovation that drives growth and prosperity. They are the creators of new ideas and industries, the disruptors of old models, and the agents of change that make our economy more dynamic, resilient, and competitive globally. Moreover, focusing on the youth is not just a matter of necessity. It is a matter of justice. It is an acknowledgement of the tremendous potential that lies within every young person, a recognition of the unique gifts and talents they bring to the table. It is a commitment to ensuring that all our citizens, regardless of their age or background, have the opportunity to thrive and fulfill their potential. But more importantly, investing in the youth is an investment in human capital development. By equipping our young people with the skills, knowledge, and experience they need to succeed, we are building a better future for them and a better future for us all. We are investing in our future, in our nation's future prosperity, laying the foundation for a stronger, more resilient, and more vibrant society. Sports. We have invested in sports. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, sport is a powerful tool to promote respect, tolerance, and solidarity. Football, like other sports, unites our people, and there is no better time than now to harness the talents of our young people to inspire unity in our nation. My government has been vindicated for its investment in sports over the last 5 years. We resolved administrative conflicts within football and provided seed capital to restart the Men's Football Premier League. The league has become a major source of job creation and for developing a generation of champions. Talent discovery and development at the local level has been a major gain of this investment. After an absence of 26 years since I took the key away in 1996, the mighty Leon Stars, our national team, qualified for the African Cup of Nations in 2021. In line with our administration's resolve for gender equality and women's empowerment, for the first time in the history of our country, a Women's Football Premier League was established and has just successfully concluded its first season. With 12 teams participating, and of course, Mobomo Queens FC from Bond District emerged as the champion. 523 youth people in various institutions across the country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our government is committed to ensuring this country's competitive development of all sports to promote youth economic empowerment. Sierra Leone's women national cricket team, commonly known as Ladies Patriot, brought home the bronze medal in 2023 Women's T20 International Cricket Tournament in Lagos this month. Additionally, Sierra Leone has had regional successes in boxing, golf, wrestling, karate, and swimming, among others. The last 5 years have been an era of sporting excellence in our nation, courtesy of the Sierra Leone People's Party. Climate change, Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, the impact of climate change is already being felt around the world. It threatens our food security and daily life. In response, we have no option but to scale up climate action holistically. My government has therefore established a standalone Ministry of the Environment to bolster our national institutional and technical capacity for responding to climate change and to strengthen our national mitigation and adaptation strategies. Many solutions are within our reach. We are committed to working with international stakeholders, multilateral agencies, and local stakeholders to implement just, affordable, and effective solutions to this existential threat. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, international respectability. Sierra Leone is now highly respected in the global community. A recognition of the unique gifts and talents they bring to the table. The stigma of the past has been replaced with widespread respectability for our values, achievements, and global leadership. To highlight some of the recognition we have received for our work, Sierra Leone has been endorsed by regional and continental bodies to sit on the United Nations Security Council in the non-permanent category. We are building a better future for them and a better future for us all. We are investing in our future. Sierra Leone chairs the Continental Committee of C10 for the reform of the United Nations Security Council. And as president, I was unanimously elected to serve as chair of the African Peer Review Forum of Heads of State and Government. The African Peer Review Mechanism is the highest decision-making authority for the AU member states to voluntarily self-monitor their governance And there performance. is no better time than now to harness the talents of our young people, to inspire unity. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my government in has been conclusion, vindicated for its investment in sports over the last Honorable Narrative, we resolved administrative conflicts with improved law and provided seat capital to the men's football Premier League. in a public address, From a major source I delivered in March 2019 at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, titled "Towards a Renaissance in Sierra Leone, a New Bold Vision," I sounded my resolve to build a Sierra Leone whose reputation was hard to destroy. The mighty Leon Stars, One that discards stereotypes our national crafted team about the qualified gloomiest for the African strips Cup of his Nations history, but instead 2021. makes informed choices grounded on democratic with our governance, administration accountability, principle for gender and human equality capital and development. women's empowerment for the 4 first years time in the on, I ask Sierra Leoneans of our to country, judge me a women's football and my Premier government today, was established and has and my government, successfully on the concluded. concrete actions that we have taken to realize this bold vision. I'm proud that these actions have already resulted in free quality education in this country, an improvement in women's empowerment, and bold actions to protect and promote women's rights. I'm proud that my government finally repealed the oppressive laws and abolished the death penalty. I'm proud that we have made huge strides in modernizing our national infrastructure, doubled energy access, and created renewed development partners and investor confidence in Sierra Leone. I'm also humbled by the task that remains before us as we seek to achieve the new renaissance, humbled yet energized to continue the leadership journey that we started in the second term. Sierra Leone has had religion and success in golf, wrestling, karate, and swimming, among others. As we look forward, Have been an era of as we look forward to the future, our nation, as we look forward to the future, courtesy of the Sierra Leone People's Party. let us be reminded of the words of Nelson Mandela, Climate change. who said, Climate and I change. quote, Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, after the climbing impact of climate change is
A great
already
hill,
being felt around the world.
one only finds that there are many more hills to climb.
And daily life.
End of quote.
In response,
I have already climbed many hills together.
climate action holistically.
We must continue. We have already climbed many hills together.
Ministry of the empowerment to bolster our national
We must continue to do so with hope, resilience, and a belief in the strength of our democratic institutions.
and adaptation.
Leading our beloved country is the greatest service any citizens can be entrusted with.
International stakeholders, multilateral agencies,
It has been a privilege to lead Sierra Leone amid the unprecedented and turbulent economic times. My party,
ladies and
the
gentlemen,
greatest thing and the best thing that ever happened to Sierra Leone, the Sierra Leone People's Party,
international responsibility. Sierra Leone is now highly respected in the global community.
I promise
Stigma of the past has been replaced with
I promise that I'm committed to serving with renewed vigor
and global leadership.
the next parliament,
Recognition we have received
and I'm excited about the future of new possibilities and hope
and continent
for our nation.
to sit on the United Nations Security
We have come a long way since Sierra Leone, since the Sierra Leone of the 1961.
Sierra Leone chairs the Continental Committee
We have come a long way from 1961.
for the reform of the United Nations Security Council. And as president, I was unanimously elected to serve as chair of the African Peer Review Forum of Heads of State and Government.
Today we can only move forward
Today we have a growing population and modern technology that has improved the quality of life for all Sierra Leoneans. As your president, I've worked tirelessly to champion policies and initiatives that benefit all Sierra Leoneans. I will continue to do so until my last second in this office.
In a public address I delivered in
Thank you.
in March 2019 at the Harvard Kennedy School of
Abeki Mamuto. Thank you, Momono. As we approach the upcoming elections, we must stand together, united in our commitment to upholding the Constitution and the democratic values of our nation. We must reject the centrifugal forces that seek to divide us and sow seeds of acrimony. Violence has no place in a democracy, and we must be watchful for those who profit from chaos and destruction. We must reject the urge to circumvent the rule of law. We must stand up for democracy. Let us campaign on our development track records and embrace debating our development policies and plans for our people. We must uphold the national integration and unity and discourage discrimination based on sex, religion, ethnic or linguistic association. Like every Sierra Leonean, I look forward to an inclusive, free, transparent and peaceful election on the 24th of June. Finally, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as we celebrate our 62nd Independence Day, let us remember our democratic values of unity, freedom, and justice for all. Let us renew our commitment to these values and the rights of everyone. I wish you all a happy Independence Day in advance, and may God Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us all May God bless us all, our beloved country, Sierra Leone, in making her a great and prosperous nation. Thank you all.
Thank you.
May we please resume our seats? Can we please resume our seats? Let us resume our seats and conclude the program.
That has improved the quality of life for all Sierra. As your president, I've worked tirelessly to champion policies and initiatives that benefit all Sierra. I will continue to do so until my last second in this office. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we now resume our seats? Honorable members, please sit down. The place. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will now, at this juncture, invite
violence has no place in a democracy, and we must be watchful for those who profit from chaos and destruction.
I will now at this juncture invite
To circumvent the rule of law, we must
the very sober-minded leader of this house to step forward, receive the address of His Excellency the President, and lay that on the table of the house.
discrimination based on sex, religion, ethnic or linguistic association. Like every Sierra Leonean, I look forward on the 24th of June. Finally, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as we celebrate our 62nd Independence Day, let us remember...
Thank you very much, the honorable leader of government business. That's a sacred duty that you have performed today again. Thank you, and God bless you. Mr. Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, what else do we want?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us all.
What else do we want? 5 more years.
May God bless us all, our beloved country, Sweden, in making her a great and prosperous nation.
The press, please. Go down. The Honorable Vice President, Madam First Lady, the Right Honorable Speaker, sir, my Lord the Chief Justice, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Honorable Members, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now invite the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Abbas Cherno Bundu, to register a motion of thanks to His Excellency the President. thank you, thank you. May we please resume our seats. Can we please resume our seats? Let us resume our seats and conclude the program.
I know, ladies and gentlemen, this is your house, but I'm the father of the house. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, Brigadier Retired Julius Maada Bio, Honorable Vice President Dr. Mohammed Julde Jalo,
Thank you.
Madam First Lady,
Can we now resume our seats? Honorable members, please sit down. The place.
Madam First Lady, Mrs. Fatima Maada Bio, my Lord Chief Justice and other justices of the Superior Court of Judicature, ministers and deputy ministers of government, Deputy Speaker, Clerk, and honorable members of Parliament, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, media representatives, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with deep gratitude and abiding respect, I stand before you as the Speaker of this 5th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone to affirm that by virtue of the provisions of subsection 1 of section 85 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, Act number 6 of 1991, this 5th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone stands dissolved this 25th day. This 25th day of April 2023, being the end of its 5 years tenure, commencing from the date of its first sitting, 25th April 2018, following the last general elections held in 2018. On behalf of the entire leadership and membership of this noble house, I wish to express our profound thanks and appreciation to you, Mr. President, for the exemplary and visionary work and leadership you provided to our beloved country, Sierra Leone. And to this 5th Parliament in particular over the past 5 years. Mr. President, in those 5 years you've demonstrated that you are truly a leader like no other before you. A leader with a big heart, sparkling and overflowing with vision, commitment and determination to deliver on your manifesto promises to this nation. And to that end, you've shown admirable propriety, understanding, tenderness, passion, and assurance, unlimited by any biases or boundaries, geographical or ethnic. Therefore, we in this Parliament take great pride and delight to have been part of the journey you have crafted to achieve our shared vision for this country. A vision illumined by the trending idioms of our time: transformative development, tangible achievements, and radical inclusion. Transformative because the policies and programs of development you espouse will benefit not only our generation, but also future generations and those yet unborn. And in driving forward the transformative agenda, you have received accolades from the international community, projecting you as the shiniest beacon of hope for our country, for this region of Africa, and even for the world at large. Mr. President, for these reasons and more, the leadership and members of this august assembly are indeed well pleased with you and your government. Madam First Lady, and more especially for all your accomplishments over the last 5 years. And because we are all so well pleased, we want to take this opportunity to express to you, your dear wife Fatima, and your government, our warmest congratulations, felicitations, and gratitude. As for your accomplishments, there are many. In fact, just too numerous to recount. Suffice it to say here that they are now a permanent engravement on our minds to serve as a constant reminder of your indomitable courage and tenacity, and will remain so etched on our minds, not only in times of peace and tranquility, but also in moments that challenge the ability and capacity as a nation, as exemplified recently by the period of the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. President, your tangible achievements are ubiquitous everywhere in the country. And with your dogged determination and resilience so inextricably intertwined, they give the shine and solidity to the request you've made to the people of this country to grant you a second and final constitutional mandate. 2023, being the end of its 5 years tenure, commencing from the date, the solidity to the request you've made to the people of this country to grant you a second and final constitutional mandate to enable you to complete the remainder of your manifesto agenda. And for that second coming, you've already signified publicly your strong desire to labor tirelessly and predominantly, this time around, in the vineyards of the country's agriculture and its related value additions, until this nation of 7 million people is enabled once again in its history to grow what we eat and to eat what we grow. And above all, until we are able to significantly change agriculture by lifting the calculus from being a yeoman's pastime to the high level of a thriving modern industry. This is something this nation cannot wait to achieve, and achieve it must. Mr. President, you've demonstrated yet another quality in your leadership. You do not just govern, you lead. And you are not afraid to lead. Born of sterner stuff, amazingly you are a leader who never wilts, even to the fiercest wind. and in the midst of the wildest storm, no matter the threat it might pose to uprooting the foundations of our nation's peace and tranquility. The last man standing for this country. A vision illumined by the trending idioms of our time. Transformative. The last man standing unshaken and unafraid. And radical inclusion. To lead to vanquish the storm and restore the nation's calm will be you. But admirably, not only our generation, you do not do it alone. But also future generations. You always remember that no one can achieve anything so great or so lasting all by himself. You believe in working together with other people whom you never seek to divide to achieve your aims, no matter how compelling the temptation. Nowhere is this more true than in the relationship you cultivated and nurtured with this fifth parliament over the past 5 years. And yet, surprisingly, you've never been an elected parliamentarian over the last 5 years. And today, the results of that relationship are stamped indelibly on the myriad of progressive policies and programs that you have brought to this fifth parliament through your ministries for enactment into law. And they are not just any ordinary laws. They are laws that are as groundbreaking in character and content as they are designed to withstand the test of time. And now, this fifth parliament would like to publicly acknowledge, making possible what previously was thought to be impossible. We met no fewer than 300 times in plenary alone, not to mention committee meetings. And some sittings lasted well into the late hours of the night. We have enacted an unprecedented number of bills into law, totaling over 75, approved 66 constitutional and statutory instruments, approved nearly 200 loans and grants, ratified over 60 treaties, conventions, and protocols, and tabled 120 committee and delegation reports. None of this could have been possible without Your Excellency's support, both material and moral. The solidity to the request you've made and all of these achievements took place under the uneasy calm, I repeat, of a hung parliament. Mr. President, and for that second coming, against this backdrop, can anyone reasonably argue against the proposition that this fifth parliament, and by extension the people of this country, owe you a huge debt of gratitude until this nation of 7 million people is enabled once again in its history? Mr. President, through your exceptional understanding, generosity, and forthrightness, the honorable members across the aisle of this hung parliament have been able to combine seamlessly among themselves and to imbibe a deeper and extraordinary sense of friendship and camaraderie. So much so that effortlessly, and this is a quality seldom perceived by outsiders, they have shown greater patience, accommodation, and forbearance in their dealings with one another and in discharging their duty as legislators. Today, I can proudly say without hesitation that they've molded an ethos of the Fifth Parliament as an institution that acts first as Reunion, and its members are more understanding, more tolerant, wiser, stronger, wittier, and more robust. Of course, Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, naturally, we've had our own share of rancor and aberration. Most notably, the most recent one of November 2022. Such, however, should not be considered unique to our Parliament. On the contrary, it is an incident inherent in the very nature of our calling as mature politicians working in an environment that is eminently democratic, and even more so in a democratic hung Parliament. So despite all the tribulations, we've managed to build bridges of constructive consultation, dialogue, and consensus across the political divide, and of give and take between all antagonists, all pointing to the enhancement of a capacity to weather the storms of apprehension and uncertainty. And in the process, we have come to accept our shortcomings without losing our sense of inner calm and candor, which has in effect given us greater strength, fortitude, and glory. And in some extraordinary way, we've held on firmly to the powerful words of admonishment of Hannah Webster Foster, who wrote, and I quote, "It is by surmounting difficulties, not by sinking under them, that we discover our fortitude." End of quote. Mr. President, under your watch, we have benefited also from your exceptional gift of serenity, dexterity, and soft banter. And through dialogue and consensus, we managed to resolve so many of our differences, inspired and aided no less by our adherence to the overarching principles of national interest and the public good. And today, as we bring this fifth Parliament of the Second Republic to a close, we want to take this opportunity to thank you again and to extend our best wishes to you as you embark upon seeking a second and final constitutional mandate as President of our dear Republic. We pray that the brightness of your great accomplishments light up the path of your future aspirations as we, the citizenry, look forward expectantly to a tomorrow paved with fulfilling dreams. I wish to extend also our deep appreciation to our esteemed development partners who have also been part of our success story. The tireless efforts of the parliamentary leadership, our members of parliament, and the management and staff of the parliamentary service also deserve fulsome praise and recognition for their hard work and patience in delivering on those actions that have made this fifth parliament such a responsible and resounding success. Mr. President, honorable members, as this fifth parliament dissolves itself today, it marks both an end and a new beginning. It is also the official beginning of the electioneering campaign for the multi-tier elections slated for June 24. For that campaign, we ask all political parties and their aspiring candidates and supporters to observe one mandatory injunction. Whatever the mode, whether driven by good fortune or by design, the people of this country demand that there shall be no backsliding to degenerative electioneering tactics. On the contrary, they demand a conscious and deliberate effort on the part of all to eschew violence and the threat of violence at all times, before, during, and after the campaign. We ask of this because there is no gainsaying the fact that peace and development are two intimate and inseparable companions. You cannot have one without the other. Besides, with the terrible experience brought by the 11-year civil war, the people of this country deserve a new life, totally devoid of violence, in whatever guise. And they are also saying enough is enough. So despite, we must all therefore conduct ourselves in a manner that is peaceful, civilized, and decorous, bearing in mind our sacred duty to uphold the Constitution of Sierra Leone, and also that the rest of the world is watching. Mr. President, honorable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude by entreating all of us in the words of John Hume, and I quote, "Difference is of the essence of humanity itself. Difference should never be seen as the source of hatred or conflict. The answer to difference is to respect it. A fundamental principle of peace is respect for diversity. Notwithstanding its tribulations, today, ladies and gentlemen, we celebrate the achievements of this fifth parliament, as much as we bid it farewell. We do so with a sense of deep reflection and humility. Going forward, we should dedicate our lives to ushering in a new, brighter future. Oftentimes, we are labeled the poorest of the poor. As a nation, we should see that label as a challenge to fight together, to throw it away, and to replace it with the promise of a new world called the world of progress and development. As citizens of Sierra Leone, we must learn to work harder together, regardless of our ethnic origin or political persuasion. We must resolve that no matter how arduous the task and how daunting the journey ahead, we shall all get to the promised land, the land free of want and deprivation, and we shall leave no one behind. And that land is right here in Sierra Leone. We must therefore be prepared to herald the sixth parliament of the Second Republic to be born out of the June elections, and I ask that we do so with a sense of purpose, determination, and optimism. Success should be our new mantra and our sole objective, for the consequences of failure are just too great to contemplate. The task ahead might appear to be difficult, but it can never ever be greater than our collective will to succeed together. With that, Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I again reaffirm that by operation of the law of the Constitution 1991, this fifth parliament of the Second Republic stands so. I thank you for your kind attention. For that campaign, we ask all political parties and their aspiring candidates and supporters to observe one mandatory injunction. Whatever the mode, whether driven by good fortune or by design, the people of this country demand that there shall be no backsliding to degenerative electioneering tactics. On the contrary, they demand a conscious and deliberate effort on the part of all to eschew violence and the threat of violence at all times, before, during, and after the campaign.
Can we please take our seats?
We ask of this because there's no gainsaying the fact that peace and development.
The Honorable Speaker, there is no better way of appreciating you than to say we grew up with you in that motion of thanks. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've almost come to the end of this program for the dissolution of the Fifth Parliament. But just few announcements before we conclude.
Enough is enough.
The packing order is as follows.
We all therefore conduct ourselves
we all wait in our seats
peaceful, civilized, and
as His Excellency the President,
our sacred duty to uphold
the Vice President,
of Sierra Leone, and also
the First Lady,
the rest of the world is watching,
and all others
Mr. President,
at the upper part of the day's
distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
process.
allow me to conclude.
They will be accompanying, they will be followed
in the words of
by the justices of the Superior Court of Judicature.
is of the essence of humanity.
And then the day's guest,
Difference should never be seen as the source
the honorable
of hatred
ministers,
or conflict.
and then the hosts
Answer the
themselves,
difference
the honorable members.
The fundamental principle of
I will now,
is respect for diversity. Notwithstanding
I will now request
today, ladies and
the
gentlemen,
anthem
we celebrate the
as
achievements of this
His Excellency the President
as much as will be
takes his final anthem
we do so
to the
with a
Fifth
sense
Parliament.
of deep reflection and humility.
Let us all please remain standing as His Excellency. Yes, yeah.
We shall all get to the promised land. The land free of want and oppression. And we shall live no longer. And that land is right here. We must therefore be prepared to honor
The justices, please give way, please, give way, please, hey, please.
We are with the foot for development national.
Followed by the day's guest on both left and right. Left and right, day's guest. You can please follow. Yes. The best guest, please. You can all leave. Honorable ministers, you follow. And then honorable members.
People of this country demand that there shall be no backslide to degenerative electioneering tactics. On the contrary, they demand a conscious and deliberate effort on the part of all to eschew violence and the threat of violence at all times, before, during, and after the campaign.
Can we please take our seats?
We ask of this because there's no gainsaying the fact that peace and development.
The Honorable Speaker, there is no better way of appreciating you than to say we grew up with you in that motion of thanks. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've almost come to the end of this program for the dissolution of the 5th Parliament. But just few announcements before we conclude.
Enough is enough.
The packing order is as follows.
All therefore conduct ourselves
We all wait in our seats
peaceful, civilized, and
as His Excellency the President,
our sacred duty to uphold
the Vice President,
of Sierra Leone, and also
the First Lady,
the rest of the world is watching.
and all others
Mr. President,
at the upper part of the day's
distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
process.
allow me to conclude.
They will be accompanying, they will be followed
in the words of
by the justices of the Superior Court of Judicature.
is of the essence of humanity.
And then the day's guest,
Difference should never be seen as the source
the honorable
of
ministers,
or conflict.
and then the hosts themselves, the honorable members.
The fundamental principle of
I will now,
is respect for diversity. Notwithstanding
I will now request
today, ladies and
the
gentlemen,
anthem